Controlled Chaos here. The 4.1 update for No Man's Sky is out and it is called the Fractal update. This update is not what any of us expected at all. There's a lot to it. The great thing is with this update that they've done, they've added some new things to certain game systems, but for the majority of us players, it's an expedition update, which is very interesting. None of us expected this whatsoever, but let's go ahead and get into this. So first off, let's talk about the expedition. It's called the Utopia Expedition. You're in a once affluent system of backend that's fallen into decay. All trade routes are halted and the space station's been abandoned, rotten. Intelligent life has departed from the system. You cannot build wherever you want. You can only build in bases, or craft in bases, should I say, because, well, you have to be able to build a base. So you can only craft in your base, which is a really interesting idea. But what's really cool about this is that they've made some quality of life improvements. They've improved discoveries. And the way they've improved discoveries is you now, in your options, you can just make it so that you just have to look at the object and automatically start scanning. You no longer have to press a button to do that. Same with interacting with objects. So let's say there's a crate you want to open up. You no longer have to click a button to open up that crate. You can go into your options and you can go ahead and just have it hover over it and it'll automatically open up for you, which is really cool. They've increased the discovery system, which we just talked about for the scanning and stuff like that. They improved the HDR lighting, and man, have they ever improved the lighting. The lighting changes are very noticeable. There's not as much bloom around the lighting. The lighting has more control to it and closer area of effect, which I like. And that's really, really cool because now things don't look so blown out when you're looking at a bunch of lit up stuff close together. You're not seeing a bunch of lit up area. You're seeing spaces between those lit up areas, which I really like. Next up that we have is in the Utopia Expedition. By completing the Utopia Expedition, you get a unique fighter, and this unique fighter looks awesome. It looks like a speeder, or the snow speeder fighter from Star Wars, which is really interesting, really cool look to it. Now, the other thing they've done is they've added in playability for the PlayStation VR 2, which is great. It adds another system to it. Probably not much work to do there since they already had the VR there and working, and they just did an update to work with the VR 2 and make the changes necessary there. What's really cool is Nintendo Switch has some things added to it. They added in Nexus missions on the Nintendo Switch. So you can now get that Quicksilver that much easier. You can do Nexus missions, which is great. They're continuing to improve on the Nintendo Switch and add to it. I like that. The other thing is that they worked out how game options work, which is nice. You no longer have to fully get into the game and into your character to access game options. You can now access this from the main menu when you choose single player or multiplayer. Then they've also reorganized and redone the UI system, so it's easier to find things. I like that a lot. Another thing that they have, and this is something that you can get in the Utopia Expedition, is they have a new helmet, and this new helmet is really interesting, sort of dark looking. I'm definitely going to be using this helmet on my Controlled Chaos character. You'll really like it. I think it's going to be awesome for you guys. Then they did a quality of life on the virtual reality stuff. They made higher quality textures, terrain tessellation effects, and planetary details and draw distance have been improved. So your visual effects on your VR is going to be really good. They're also adding in Twitch rewards, so you'll want to check that out. And then we have alien structure abundance, which is ancient portals, plaques, monoliths, a mist effect, and visual effects upon activating them have all been increased. Complete overhaul of how virtual reality works, which I think is part of the reason why they took out the whole entire click thing to interact, to make it easier for virtual reality. Dynamic resolution scaling. You can now adjust your resolution a lot better for smoother frame rates at all times and slightly improved visual quality. This also includes things like being able to increase the size of your text. Not by much, but for people like me who have eye disabilities or a hard time reading, it increases the text size so that you have an easier time to read it. I really love this one. Being someone with an eye disability, this is a great improvement. Maybe I won't have to wear my glasses anymore while playing No Man's Sky. Then they added in VR base building and placement options and tools so you can now build with VR, which I really like. Then on top of that, you can catalog your treasures and really cool stuff like that adds to it, and that's cool. The VR Galaxy map has gotten an overhaul to it, so you'll want to check that out if you have VR. New accessibility features, so they all of the cataloging and stuff like that and visual effects and cameras and controls have been increased and modified and stuff like that, like we've been talking about. Then we have a new holographic friends type thing that's part of the Utopia Expedition, where you get this little thing that you can put in your base that has holograph of someone just sort of like chatting with you, and that's going to give a really cool Star Wars type effect and interesting look. You can also customize your character a bit more, and by this you can choose whether you're right-handed or you're left-handed, and that's great. It's a small thing, but you know what, it adds to the game. It can now make you feel like you being in that character. I have a roommate who's left-handed, and for him to be able to make his character be left-handed, I think he'd greatly appreciate that. So that's going to be awesome there. More quality of life updates and refining of how things work. One of the great things that they did is they added in a quick charge button to resources. So that resource, if it's used for multiple things, you just hit quick charge and it will separate out and go to your different stuff. And I think that's an interesting idea. I really like that improvement there. They have new VR options to increase the ability to adjust your VR settings, which will greatly improve motion controls, cursors, and stuff like that for you to adjust. That's great. You also, with the Utopia Expedition, you get a robo-wandering warden pet, which is great. Another little thing on there. They have PS VR2 headset feedback. This is basically vibrations, so that's going to be interesting there. The whole entire thing of dealing with getting your Minotaur exocraft to look like it's a Sentinel Minotaur is now on the Nintendo Switch. That's excellent and cool. I like that a lot. Motion controls for the Nintendo Switch. This is great. Of course, this was coming out. We all know that they're working on putting this on iPads and stuff like that. So adding in motion controls, getting that ready for that, they put it on the Nintendo Switch. So if you have a Nintendo Switch version, you can now use the motion controls on the Nintendo Switch. That's really cool. Then, you know, more stuff talking about VR2. The smokes and wreck effects have been enhanced. The fog and sparks and stuff like that that come off of your wrecks and damages and stuff is improved, and that's really good. New milestone titles for completing milestone journeys, you know, such as how far you've traveled with running, how many solar systems you visited, how many enemies you've taken out, things like that have all been added in. They've expanded the starship fleet. I love this one. I have been having to sell or destroy or trade so many of my starships because I've been sitting at 9 starships doing all of these, finding different ships for you guys. So having this really frees up some space. Going from 9 to 12 is a really nice thing. That's the majority of everything that's in there. If you want a deep dive of what this patch all includes, click on the link down below in the description and it will take you straight to the No Man's Sky post with all of this information. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.